Jesus listening and speaking to the 70. After the visit to Capernaum, frustrated at not having found Livia, as he had hoped, Pilate returned to Nazareth, from where he would return to Jerusalem a few days later. However, as a statesman, the political threats materializing with Publius's presence in his territory, now for longer than he had anticipated, began to bother him greatly. Especially given the prospect that, in search of his lost son, the senator would be forced to travel the region, which could expose in a more dangerous way the administrative methods corrupted by the long duration of his rule. The return to Jerusalem, days later, was immersed in a veil of worries and fears, which Pilate tried to dispel with memories of the good offices he had expended in favor of the search for the missing child, which should, certainly, have raised the distraught father's good opinion. However, anxiety and a guilty conscience over the countless administrative mismanagement weighed heavily on the governor's concerns. He hadn't forgotten the passion Livia inspired in him and the distance that stood between his heart and the object of his desire. Yet he couldn't act as if he were lusting after one of the common women of the region, since she was the wife of his potentially dangerous adversary. He had already behaved boldly, even for a man of his rank, toward the wife of another important Roman in the province. He didn't want to push his luck and risk ruining everything with flamboyant actions that would compromise him in the eyes of his discerning observers. Thus, he tried to involve himself in state affairs, reveling in conquests that didn't pose any major risks. Among them was Fulvia, who, in her recklessness, couldn't wait to regain her favor with the governor, her brother-in-law. This woman was the prototype of the viper in female form, having been swayed by the concepts of her time, which placed beauty as the powerful pedestal upon which everything could be achieved, excusing herself from illicit acts by claiming that men are driven by desire and that such frailties are not the responsibility of those who possess the thing everyone covets. This was a common line of reasoning then, as it is today, in the simplification of concepts and the neglect of the moral principles that should help people overcome their weaknesses. Both Pilate and Fulvia accurately represented the profile that much of humanity has worshipped to this day.